तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणी निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। इन तत्वमसि महावाक्य त्वम पद वाच्यार्थ is the physical body, subtle body, causal body, consciousness manifesting in subtle body, and pure consciousness all pervading together becomes Tvam-pada Vachyartha, direct meaning. Implied meaning of Tvam-pada Vachyartha would be only consciousness. Having explained that, teacher has taken up Tat-pada for discussion, analysis. Tat-pada means God, and he said, I will explain by using Atad-vyavritti and Vidhi-mukha, Nishedha and Vidhi, negation and assertion. The negation aspect is when everything is negated, tan nishedhavasti. Nishedha avadhi means you go on negating, and what remains is Brahman. And assertion is in two ways. Swarupa Lakshana. So Swarupa Lakshana is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. And Tatastha Lakshana now is being indicated. Tatastha Lakshana is either with respect to Jagat or with respect to Jiva. With respect to Jagat, first it was said, Brahman is Nimitta Karana, Sarvajñatvam, Pareshatvam, Tatha Sampurna Shaktita. And Upadana Karanam is material cause, explained by various examples like clay, gold and iron. And all these things are known only through Shruti, only through Upanishad. There is no other way of knowing the nature of Brahman as Jagat Karanam. In all other creations of objects, Nimitta Karana, intelligent cause, is different from material cause. Like a carpenter is needed and wood is also needed, they are two different. So the matter aspect is different, intelligent aspect is different. But in Vedanta we say matter and spirit, consciousness and matter, they both are expressing through one and the same Brahman. Because there is no other entity that has to be included. Brahman alone is material cause, Brahman alone is efficient cause. And such example is our dream. When we see a dream, we alone are the intelligence and we alone are providing the material. Therefore, it is said this whole world is God's dream, a big dream, or a dream of Shuddha Chaitanya, Brahman. Our dream is dream at mental level. Total dream is dream at Chaitanya level. Just to distinguish. Or you say it is dream of total mind. Our dream is dream of individual mind. So I project my vasanas, total mind will project vasanas of all. So if everyone's vasana is there, then Vakya Vritti class will happen. If there is only one vasana, it will not happen. So this discussion is going on, and little bit more about this creation is now said in Shloka 33, page number 116. Yadanantyam pratignyaya Shrutistat siddhaye jagau Tatkaryatvam prapanchasya Tadbrahmetyavadharaya. Tad Brahma iti avadharaya. Know that to be Brahman. In other words, don't have your own idea of Brahman. Just have this understanding of Brahman. Tad Brahma iti avadharaya. Kim Brahma? Yad anantyam pratignyaya Shrutihi tat siddhaye jagau. Shruti, what it is doing, it is first saying the pratignya that Brahman is infinite. Anantyam means infinitude. Having done this pratignya, proposition, now it is proving how it is infinite. And how it proves? Tat karyatvam prapanchasya, that the whole creation is nothing but an effect of this cause. Whole creation is nothing but the effect of this cause. Therefore, effect is not different from the cause. Therefore, world is not different from Brahman. So, therefore, Brahman is infinite even if there is world. Otherwise, there will be two things, Brahman and world. So then Brahman will become finite. So by showing that world is nothing but effect of Brahman, Brahman being the cause, there is no otherness, there is no duality. Yadanantyam pratignyaya shrutistat siddhaye jagau. Jagau, the gi is the root. So now the answer question would be where, in which Shruti it happens. So you have to know that those Shruti. In Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmanandavalli, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, then Tasmad va etasmad Atmanah Akasha Sambhutaha, the whole series of quotations are there. So creation is nothing but effect of Brahman. Second chapter of Taittiriya Upanishad. Now, that Brahman, it is said, I have to know as Jagat Karanam. Again, in the next shloka, this is from third chapter of Taittiriya Upanishad. विजिज्ञास्यतया यच्च वेदान्तेषु मुमुक्षुभिः समर्थ्यतेऽपि यत्नेन तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारय। यत् वेदांतेषु मुमुक्षुभिः विजिज्ञासतया अतियत्नेन समर्थ्यते। अतियत्नेन, with extreme effort and caution, that for a mumukshuvihi means those who are seekers of liberation, to them very cautiously Brahman is pointed out. As what? Jignasyataya, that you have to know Brahman. So, a mumukshu's desire should be, I want to know Brahman. Mumukshu should become Jignasu. Desire for moksha should get translated only into desire to know Brahman. In other words, there is no other way of moksha. Moksha is only by knowing Brahman. So the student says, Adi Bhagavo Brahmeti, O teacher, please teach me Brahman. So the teacher says, first you prepare yourself. Annam pranam chakshushrotram mano vachamiti satapotapyata satapastaptva. And then to him it was told, yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayante abhisambhishanti tad vijignyasasva. So that vijignasyataya, that word has come here. Tad brahmeti, that is Brahma. Tad brahma iti. Then he goes on meditating and keeps coming back. So that is a sign of good student here. Different levels of students are shown in different Upanishads. So one student is, teacher just gives some indications, he goes, he contemplates, comes back. This is one good student. Another good student is the Shvetaketu. He comes to teacher teaches, he says, I didn't understand, teach again. Again teacher says, he says, I didn't understand, teach again. 9 times teacher teaches. 9 jnana yajnas. After that, he said, understood. So there is another variety. Another variety, very high class student in the mother's womb, while mother is pregnant, he got the knowledge. So varieties of students are shown. And one student is shown in Kenopanishad, who after the whole teaching is over, he says, teacher, start Upanishad now. There is also one variety. So, Vijignasyataya, this Brahman is pointed out as that which should be known. Vedanteshu mumukshubhi samarthyate. Samarthanam means in this way it is described, established. Atiyatnena tad brahma iti avadharaya. This tells you which Upanishads Acharya considers and which Upanishad Vakyas, which mantras he considers as most important. Because he is bringing only those selected gems here. And on these mantras you will find his elaborate commentary in Shankar Bhashya. 15 pages in Sanskrit commentary is a heavy dose. So now he takes up one more, again from Taittiriya Upanishad. And what is this? This is actually a Mahavakya. Jivatmana praveshascha niyantritvam cha tan prati shruyate yasya vedeshu tad brahmetyavadharaya. Tad Brahma. What is Brahma? Yasya Vedeshu Shruyate. About whom this is what is heard in Upanishad. What is heard? Jivatmana Pravesha. So now with respect to Jiva, it is said this Brahma, this Paramatma, having created this whole universe, having created varieties of bodies, that Paramatma alone is expressing through these bodies. That same Paramatma becomes disciple, and same Paramatma becomes teacher. Same Paramatma becomes Upasaka, same Paramatma becomes Upasya. Same Paramatma plays the role of Bhakta, and same Paramatma plays the role of Bhagavan. Double role. Jivatmana Pravesha. Having created, it entered Tat Srishtva Tad Evanupravishat Tadanupravishya Satchatyacha Bhavat. So he created everything, then he entered. This entry part is a big commentary. So now in notes you just write down, and later when you read it. Then, now Jiva is created, is he allowed to just do whatever he likes? No, niyantritvam cha tan prati. Now he is controlled by this Ishvara. Upasaka is controlled by Upasya. Bhakta is controlled by Bhagavan. Or Jiva is controlled by Ishvara. Niyantritvam. This is heard also in Vedas. When you do Vedic analysis, don't mix Purana. Keep Purana aside. Veda mantras, when they are analyzed, just focus on that. Because Praman is Upanishad, Veda. Shruyate yasya vedeshu tad brahmetyavadharaya. So, here what is the role of Ishvara or Brahma? Brahma as Ishvara, Saguna Brahma, becomes Niyanta of Jiva, controller. So, with respect to Jiva, Brahman is defined now. Earlier it was with respect to Jagat. Right? Tatastha Lakshana we are discussing. With respect to Jagat, Jagat Karta. Karta is Nimitta Karana also, Upadana Karana also. With respect to Jiva, Niyanta, controller. That was previous shloka. Now next is Karma Phala Data. It is such a beautiful thing. every aspect is covered. कर्मणां फलदातृत्वं यस्यैव श्रूयते श्रुतौ जीवानां हेतुकर्तृत्वं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारय यस्य श्रुतौ कर्मणां फलदातृत्वं श्रूयते. In Shruti, he is heard as karma phaladata. Means who gives the results of karma. So Brihadaranyaka, Shruti is there that he is karma phaladata. He is called Vasudana, the giver of the karma phala, giver of prosperity. He is also called Dharma Rakshaka, protector of Dharma, Dharma Setu. Goswami ji, Tulsidas ji has used these words in Ramayana. He is Dharma Setu. He is giver of Bandha, means Bhoga and Moksha, both. Bandha, Moksha, Prada, Sarva Para, Maya Preraka Siva. So he uses same words, little different language. So if you have studied Upanishads, then you know where he is referring. Otherwise we just, I am studying Ramayana. But thorough study of Upanishads, if it is there, each word you can connect where they are going. So karmanam phaladhatratvam. So he is karma phaladhata. And also the Shvetashvatar Shruti, karmadhyaksha sarva bhutadivasaha sakshi cheta kevalo nirgunascha. So he is karmadhyaksha. Straight it is given. He presides over all karmas. And that's why the other word here used is jivanam hetu kartritvam. Jiva is able to become karta only when he has everything else available. To become karta, I need karma, karana, upadana, adhikarana, everything is needed. Like I have explained, if you want to cook something, let's say you want to make something, you need everything. Who will provide everything? That is Ishvara. Then only Jiva can enter into the role of karta. Really, Jiva doesn't become karta. Identified with three gunas, because yesterday only we saw all the karmas are happening in the gunas. What was the shloka yesterday? Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drashta anupashyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati. Madbhavam. Remember? So other than gunas, there is no karta. But Jiva thinks he is karta when he identifies with upadhi. So that kartrutva is also possible because of everything. And then bhoktrutva is also possible when somebody gives karma phala. So with respect to Jiva, Ishvara has these roles. He gives karma phala and he provides for everything for Jiva to perform actions. That is Brahman. Like if I say, I gave a wonderful talk. Right? How did you give talk? Who equipped you with everything? So first is, you have to gain knowledge. To gain knowledge, somebody has to be there to give knowledge. Somebody has to have shastra, right? Ashram. Because otherwise where will the knowledge take? Some place should be there where knowledge takes place. Then equipments are required. Then this community should be there, where I can give talk. then people who have desire to learn this should come. So to become karta of one action, so many things have to first come in place. Then only you can become karta of one action. And still we feel, oh, I am karta, I am karta. That's why in Thanksgiving you thank all these people. Because of them you are somewhere, someone. As long as you think you are someone. Vedanta says you are not that also. Okay. Now with this shloka, the Tatpada Vichara is complete. So Tvam-pada Vichara is complete, Tat-pada Vichara is complete. Okay. Now we are going to enter into Asi, the oneness. So remember, to understand Vakyartha, you have to understand Padartha. So he says now, I'm not recapping, assuming that you know everything. Right? Tvam-pada is Sakshi Chaitanya. This is what is understood as implied meaning. And Tat-pada, he is by itself Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma with respect to Jagat, Jagat Karana. With respect to Jiva, the one who is controller, Karma Phaladata, and the one who provides for Jiva to perform actions. Okay. Tattvam padarthau nirnitau Vakyarthascintyate dhuna Tadatmyamatra Vakyarthah Tayoreva padarthayoh Tattvam padarthau nirnitau. Tat padartha and tvam padartha, their nirnaya is done. Means we have discussed them now. Aduna, now Vakyartha Chintyate. Now we are going to dwell on Vakyartha. So Padartha is done. Padarthau nirnitau. Vakyartha Chintyate. In Sanskrit is very simple actually if you properly focus. Vakyartha Chintyate aduna. Tadatmyamatra Vakyartha Tayoho eva padarthayoho. Tayoho padarthayoho eva tadatmyam atra Vakyartha. You see what is Vakyartha? Vakyartha is nothing but Tayoho padarthayoho. Tayoho padarthayoho means of those two padartha. Which padartha? Tat padartha and tvam padartha. Tayoho padarthayoho, of these two, tadatmyam, oneness, is called Vakyartha. Why? Because there is word Asi. So Asi word says that they are one. So Tayoho padarthayoho Aikya or Tadatmyam is Vakyartha. So when we hear that, he said that is where there is problem. Because how can you say that and this are one, or that and I are one? Because it is said that you are. So how can that and I be equated? Because we use the word that for something which is remote, and we use the word I for something which is most immediate, proximate. So how can you use the same word or put both of them together? So this is why there is so much analysis. If it was that simple, where you don't have to have any conflict, then there is no need of conflict resolution. So now, how to understand their oneness? So for this, there is analysis. How to understand a statement. So next shloka you read now. Samsargo va vishishto va
संसर्गो वा विशिष्टो वा
वाक्यार्थो नात्र सम्मतः
वाक्यार्थो नात्र सम्मतः
अखण्डैकरसत्त्वेन
अखण्डैकरसत्त्वेन
वाक्यार्थो विदुषां मतः
वाक्यार्थो विदुषां मतः.
This is a technical shloka now. So I will keep technicality to minimum because we don't have that liberty and luxury that I stay here for many days and go on talking and you will go on listening. So I have to keep it only to the time and context that we have for with us. So a statement like bring a cup of hot water. If I say, this whole analysis is now what? How to understand a statement. Why do we need to analyze this? Because statement produces knowledge. And in the case of Vedanta, Mahavakya produces knowledge. Now I'm going to add a word to this. Mahavakya alone is going to produce the knowledge. If I need moksha, this is the only way. In your mind, if you have any other idea, you try that out. Spend as many lives as you want. When you are ready, you come back to Vedanta. Mahavakya alone will produce knowledge. That knowledge alone will give you liberation. There is no other way. Therefore, you have to know how Mahavakya will produce knowledge. Mahavakya will produce knowledge only if Mahavakya is understood. In the advanced texts, I'm going to conduct a camp in July in Mumbai on Naishkarmya Siddhi. Many of you may not have even heard the name of the text. Naishkarmya Siddhi, it is highly advanced grantha. First chapter I am going to take. The third chapter of that, Acharya has only one topic, that there are people who claim they have listened to Vedanta for 15 years, they have not understood what is moksha. Therefore, I am taking up this chapter only to tell them how to understand Tattvam Asi, that's all. So if you don't understand now, you will have to understand then. Anyway, that text is by Sureshwaracharya, disciple of Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya. So, bring a hot cup of water, right? If there is a word sentence like this, to understand this statement, I have to understand what is meant by bring. Hot cup, water, and off. every word I should know, then they all should be put together in a connection. So I cannot use in English the word sentence water, cup, hot, bring. You have to put it and off. You have to put it in a proper way. They are connected to each other so that they produce a proper, logical, rational meaning. Instead of saying bring a hot cup of water, if I say bring some hot ice, bring some hot ice. Syntactically, it is correct statement. Logically, it is incorrect. In advanced texts, all these things are taken up for discussion. So, according to Sanskrit grammar, even if it is correct, if logic fails there, we will have objection. What are you talking? Hot ice? There is no such thing. So, Tattvamasi Vakya is also to be understood. Okay, while I am on this road. Tattvamasi Vakya, let's say I understood. Is it this statement, is it like saying, on the bank of river there are fruits, means there are trees where fruits are hanging. Nadyaha tire phalani santi. On the bank of river, fruits are hanging. Is it like that, this Tattvamasi Vakya? Why, somebody said, why we have to discuss all these things? Arey Baba, I just come and close my eyes, without meditation. No, there is no closing eyes here. You come to Vedanta course, your eyes will become wide open. So if somebody thinks that I will just go and close my eyes and sit under a tree. Tattvamasi Mahavakya is not like fruits are there at the bank of river. Why? Because in the understand how important this concept is. You will say, what fruits and what river? In that statement, when you hear, the knowledge takes place. What is the knowledge? That the fruits are there at the bank of river. Do you get the fruits? You have to now go there and get it. Tattvamasi is not like that. When Tattvamasi Vakya is heard and you understand you are Brahman, you don't have to do anything more to get Brahman. Like going and getting the fruits. No, but I have to meditate. No need. If you have not understood, then only you will have to meditate. There is a misconception. This is discussed in 4th Sutra of Brahma Sutra. Is it? Yes. But how to understand this Mahavakya is a big thing. So samsarga, this Vakya, bring a hot cup of water, is called samsarga Vakya, the first word. Why it is called samsarga? Because each word is connected with the other in some connection. They all are in different cases or they have different prepositions, right? In English we say of and such things. On, in, it, etc. Not it, on, upon, etc. This is called samsarga Vakya. Vishishta Vakya means, so is Tattvamasi like Sansarga Vakya, where the word Tat and Tvam, they are connected to each other and they are in different cases. Is it like hot cup of water? So hot water and cup, they all are connected there. Is it like that? No, because tat and tvam are not connected with each other with some proposition. Okay, so it is not samsarga vakya. Vishishta vakya is one is adjective for the other. So if I say Vasudeva Putra, Rukmini Pati, Dwarakadhisha, Shri Krishna. Vasudeva Putra, Rukmini Pati, Dwarakadhisha, Shri Krishna. So in this statement, how many things are mentioned? Only one thing is mentioned. Shri Krishna alone is mentioned, everything else is adjective. This is called Visheshana. So Vishishta Vakya is, there is noun and everything else is only adjective. So it is not like that kind where tat is adjective of tvam or tvam is adjective for tat. Right? They are not adjective for each other. So they are not adjective for each other. So it is not Vishishta Vakya. It is not Samsarga Vakya. It is not Vishishta Vakya. So that is what is said now. Samsargo va Vishishto va Vakyartho na atra sammataha. Atra Vakyartha should not be understood as this. Then how it should be understood? Akhanda Ikarasatvena. Akhanda Ekarasa means here the two words are indicating total oneness. It is not one adjective for the other or one related to the other. If you want to read a little bit more on this, it is explained in 7th chapter of Panchadashi commentary. So you can read there. Or in Vedanta Sara, this shloka is quoted. So in course I have covered both. So everything is covered. Samsargo va vishishto va vakyartho natra sammataha akhandaikara sattvena vakyartho vidushamata. According to wise people, it should be understood as absolute oneness between the two. How? You have not explained. I will explain now. Pratyak bodho ya abhati sodvayananda lakshanaha advayananda rupascha pratyak bodhaika lakshanaha. So now one example will come later. I will tell you the example now itself, so it is easy to understand. The example in our Vedantic literature we use is Soyam Devadatta. Now comes Devadatta. So there is a person, let's say his name was Devadatta, and he grew up somewhere in India, and he was a good boy in school, He went and excelled there, then went to some good college in India, then he came to America. He came to America and then he was bright and brilliant, so he wanted to have a startup. He had a startup, successful, and after the company flourished and all, he was addressing a huge group of investors and shareholders and everyone on stage. So when he was addressing somebody in the audience, he felt, I think I know this guy. He sounds familiar. Who is he? So the person sitting next to him said, Saha Ayam Devadatta. This is that fellow. That fellow, you remember, in our village we used to play together. He did not know how to put buttons on his shirt. The hairs were always all over, but he was very smart. The CEO is that. So what happens at that time? Knowledge takes place. What is the knowledge? That at that time there was that guy in that place, little boy, different place, different time, different costume, different age. Here on stage, CEO, different place, different time, different costume. Inner essence is one. This knowledge takes place. Like that, Tat Tvam Asi, inner essence is one. This knowledge should take place. If it took place, that's all. Now, what is the nature of that knowledge? So that is explained. Pratyak bodhoya abhati, so advaya ananda lakshana. Pratyak bodha, the inner consciousness, is advaya ananda. Advaya ananda means non-dual bliss. So the bodha, inner knowledge, consciousness, pratyak bodha, is, pratyak means atma. Pratyak word is used only for atma. Pratyak means innermost. So what is innermost? I am the innermost. Everything else is other than me. So pratyak bodha is non-dual ananda. And second line, non-dual ananda is pratyak bodha. That non-dual ananda means the infinitude. Because infinitude, when it is there, then it is non-dual. Anything else is there, there will be duality. Pratyak bodhoya abhati sodvaya ananda lakshana advaya ananda rupascha pratyak bodhaika lakshana. In other words, I am that and that I am. Is both ways. Ocean is wave, wave is ocean. So when we hear this, we should understand we are referring to only water. When it is said ocean is wave, ocean is lot of water, wave is less water, but both are waters. H2O. Pratyak bodhaika lakshana. In this way, when I understand, then what will happen? Itham anyonyatādatmya
Ittam anyonyatādatmya
pratipattir yada bhavet
pratipattir yada bhavet
abrahmatvam tvamarthasya
abrahmatvam tvamarthasya
vyavarteta tadaiva hi.
vyavarteta tadaiva hi.
Actually, next sloka also, the first part also goes with that. One word is missing in that next shloka, first quarter. Tadarthasya cha paroksham. Cha is missing there. Tadarthasya cha paroksham. Yadyevam kim tatashrunu. पूर्णानन्दैकरूपेण प्रत्यग्बोधोऽवतिष्ठते. So now come back to 40. Itham, in this way, अन्योन्य तादात्म्य प्रतिपत्तिर यदा भवेत्. यदा, when अन्योन्य तादात्म्य प्रतिपत्ति भवेत्, when this knowledge takes place of mutual oneness, अन्योन्य तादात्म्य, that they are one. In this way, when the knowledge takes place, pratipattir yada bhavet, then what will happen? So a beautiful thing will happen when this knowledge takes place. Right now, when I understand myself to be the inner consciousness and Brahma, Paramatma to be infinite, these are the two things. One is Pratyak Bodha, another is infinite Ananda. So, we are through Tattvamasi Mahavakya bringing the two together as one. So then what will happen? My finitude is my problem. And God's remoteness is my problem. So I think I am finite, I am limited, I am incapable. And God is far somewhere. As soon as God word comes, I look somewhere else only. Means in me, the problem of finitude is there. And with respect to God, I feel there is remoteness. So, itham anyonya tadatma pratipatti hi yada bhave, when this will happen, then abrahmatvam tvamarthasya vyavarteta tada evahi. At that moment, what will happen? Tvam artha, I feel that I am finite, that abrahmatva, Brahma means infinite, abrahmatva, finitude, vyavarteta, it will go. It will go away. Vyavarteta, tada evahi. This is first shloka. 40. And the next one is tad arthasya paroksham cha. Up to that actually goes with the previous shloka. Tad arthasya cha paroksham vyavarteta tadaivahi. You have to use the same verb. That means with tad artha, the paroksham, the remoteness idea also will go away. That God is somewhere, God is not somewhere. If God is right here. Tattvamasi Mahavakya will give this knowledge. Henceforth, you will never have this notion that God is somewhere. So, tad arthasya cha paroksham. Paroksham means remoteness. From God, remoteness will go. From I, finitude will go. I give example. This you can definitely remember. Remember when you watch Super Bowl on this Sunday now. You know they showed two helmets coming and spiking with each other. Those who know, very few people might be watching football. So then it's like Tat and Tvam coming together and colliding with each other, and what will happen? One will give up its abrahmatva and another will give up its remoteness, and they will become one. This is Tattvamasi. So now even when you watch that, Tattvamasi should come to your mind. That's all. Yadi evam, now somebody said, Kim tataha, then what? Okay, so if this happened, then so what? Kim tataha, are listen, shrunu, purnanandaika rupena pratyak bodho avadishthate. Then this inner knowledge, it will be purna ananda. Purna, paripurna means infinite. So, Tattvamasi Vakya has come to remove my finitude. And Swamiji, I have analyzed Tattvamasi thoroughly. My finitude has not gone. Again, analyze it. I feel I am limited, I feel I am miserable, I feel I am, finitude means all this. I am insecure, steady. You have not understood Tattvamasi. Because I that you are referring to is this mithya I, vachyartha I. So here Acharya takes it for granted that oneness is not possible between the vachyartha. Therefore we have to take only lakshyartha. He will explain a little bit now. Like how in the case of Devadatta, we drop the conditionings and we take only the unconditioned Devadatta as one. So like the conditioning we drop and unconditioned consciousness of Jiva Ishvara is one. Who will teach these things? Only Upanishads can. Shvetaketu heard this 9 times from his father. So I am going to cover this in New Jersey and Los Angeles in the evening session. Not this, Tattvamasi, Chandogya, 6th chapter. 9 times it will come. You are that, you are that, you are that. And I might do it in London, in Oxford. We haven't decided yet, but it's a beautiful thing. It's like taking a refreshing shower, just stand under it. And that too when we are exhausted, dirty, a lot of sweat is there. How beautiful is that shower? This is that. Anytime you feel tired of life, take Upanishad, take Vedanta. There is no other way to get out of it. Have 1 or 2 texts as your favorite, which you pick up whenever you feel there is some negativity, crisis in life. Get out of it. No tears. Purnanandaika rupena pratyak bodho vatisthate. Chalo. Here we will close. Some of you have to go and work. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।